E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, we are on Thursday, and I am super excited. We've been talking about the Roaring 20s this week and about the inventions that came out of the 20s.
Oh, yeah, the attitude and everything. It really is something, and I'm sitting here today.
It's inspiring.
Yes.
It is inspiring.
I'm sitting here today and I'm looking at this microphone here, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it was an award that I got they said I was the best speaker. Not the worst, but I got an award, so I was the best speaker. So there was only me and one other guy, and he had the flu and couldn't talk. Oh my goodness, Donna, I tell you right now, when I think of the Roaring 20s, I think of people who are just sick and tired of doom and gloom, and they want to thrive and not just survive. And the automobile was one of the most inspirational things that just really ignited everything, because that got the wheels turning, you might say.
It really did. It really did. Pun intended. But but the thing is that Jim and I find so interesting, folks, about the 20s and today is they were in a similar situation.
Amen.
Right? And so they came out of that really dark time where everybody was scared. Things weren't normal, and they had to create a new normal. And with that came the old terminology, the mother of invention. And here we are talking about it. And really, most all of the things that we are talking about of inventions in the 1920s, we still use today.
Mm-hmm. Would you believe, like television?
Right?
Hi out there in TV land.
Right? Radio. I mean, we talked about so many: sunglasses, headrests, stoplights, you name it. Bulldozers.
Don't mention stoplights. Just keep this positive. Stoplights always catch me. I think a stoplight's got this thing in there that says, okay, here comes Jim. All right. Caution, red, But I get a kick out of the days that people select certain days to recognize certain things. Right. And it just blows me away how there's so many things that, we think of, and there is some good here on March the 10th. This is the World Kidney Day. That is a wonderful time to remember and be aware of the fact that kidney disease is a major issue in the world today.
It's horrific.
Yeah, because becoming aware of it and being educated about it, and most importantly, doing stuff for yourself, number one, to maintain your health, and then to be involved with other organizations that support that if that's your calling. Right. So today, World Kidney Day, if you're interested in that, today is a good day to get going.
Absolutely.
And Popcorn Lovers Day.
Yay.
Yeah, you bet. I mean to tell you. And, they've even got a day for Paper Money Day. I mean, I guess those are the people that really love money. Let's have a Paper Money Day.
Right.
But also, too, this is another worthy cause that may fit some of your calling out there. This is the National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And here again, being aware of the disease and becoming educated in the disease, and things that you can reach out and do. If
Right.
that means something to your heart, this is the day that you need to get involved and just do some research on the internet and see how you can be a blessing to others, women and girls, and even men and boys that suffer from HIV and AIDS. And this is the awareness day for that.
Absolutely.
And for,
Absolutely.
and
We've
for
come a
all you,
long way, but we have a long ways to go.
oh yeah. And when I saw this, the very first person that popped in my mind was Marty Haggard. He's the oldest son of Merle Haggard.
Mhm.
National Ranch Day. I don't know why that popped in my mind, but good old country music. I mean, my goodness,
Right.
National Ranch Day. It's about American food, comfort food, and just good old fashioned home cooking. Oh my goodness, National Ranch Day.
Here's to all the ranchers who make everything possible.
Yes. All of the ranchers and all the farmers out there, because I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, and I can tell you right now, that is a hard job, and farmers work on faith. They
Right.
put in all that work in the spring and then the summer, and hoping that in the fall, in our case, cotton and corn, uh, hoping that you have a good harvest. And
Right.
also for you folks out there on the road, and you got to, working at the office or whatever, this is also National Pack Your Lunch Day. So make sure you pack a good lunch that you enjoy on your day. And oh, Donna, oh,
Mm.
you want to know what else this is the National Day of?
Ooh, can't wait. Tell me.
Blueberry Popover Day.
I love blueberries, and they are
Oh,
amazing for you.
yes, they are. I remember my brother said that when he got started eating blueberries, he says, I didn't really care for the taste, but since they love me, I figured I love them back. That's so important. And National Landline Telephone Day, if you're aware of that. And here's a good one for all of us. This is your day to celebrate. It's an international day of awesomeness. Oh
Oh,
my goodness. That's singing everybody's song there, isn't it, Donna?
it is. It is. Everybody out here, everybody everywhere in the world is awesome. We all
Really
have our
are.
own unique style, our own unique look, and our own
Hmm.
unique footprint. And don't let anyone take that away from you. You're
You
awesome.
better believe it. Just like your thumbprint, you know that no one else's will ever have your fingerprints or anything like that. That's how
Right.
specially crafted you were and being put together. No one else has got your special talents. And so I like to say, look at your thumbprint, it's different. So you are a thumb body, you know. And I had to do that right in the middle of a yawn to make her, well, she was trying to laugh and yawn at the same time. She's talented, but she has her limitations there, ladies and gentlemen.
That was mean. I got up way too early today. My cats would not let me sleep in. And I thought, oh, I can sleep in just a little bit today. But
Mm.
no, they were up in the window swatting and playing uh, with the what do you call it, the turner for the blinds, the
Oh,
wand,
okay.
the
Yeah, the
wand.
wand. Yeah.
Oh, they would not leave it alone. So
Mm.
I was up before roosters even thought to be up this morning.
Roosters were still had their head under the wings, huh?
Pretty much.
Oh goodness. And we talked about this yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before we may have mentioned it, but the garbage disposal was actually invented in 1927 by a guy by the name of John Hams. That's
This is amazing.
Hammes. I thought that was a modern convenience that was invented in the 50s.
I did too. I
Wow.
did too. If someone had told me it was invented in 27, I would have said you're wrong. It had to be invented in the 50s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we know it's an instrument that allows you to crush food waste and wash them down without storing them. And for long term in the garbage bag or anything like that, in most cases, garbage bags stink. Surprise, surprise, right?
Right?
And it can be messy, but it's real convenient for us to be able to scrape off the what's left on our plate, turn on the garbage disposal, it's gone down the drain. No harm, no foul.
Right.
And this guy, Hamas, he was an architect from Wisconsin who figured he wanted to figure a way for his wife so her chores would be easier in the kitchen. How many times have we heard of an invention was created out of love, Donna?
This is the third time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third time we've seen that in the inventions we're talking about in 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one that comes to my mind was Band-Aids. That was a labor of love, as the saying goes.
Sure was.
Mm-hmm.
Sure was. Well,
and go ahead. I was just going to say with the garbage disposal, when he designed the first prototype, he rented a workshop to develop it in, and he continued with different designs. He came up with the best design of the time in 1927. He later founded a company after receiving a patent for his invention. His company is still existing till today. And when it first said garbage disposals were called electric pigs.
Yes, I love that. An electric pig. That is just so funny.
Go over there and turn on that electric pig there, boy, and wash that plate off. Or you put in the dishwasher. What's wrong with you? And oh my goodness.
The next one is all of these were revolutionary.
Yes, yes.
But this one was a game changer for us from that moment going forward. Mm-hmm. So 1923 is the year. Mm-hmm. And the inventor, Clarence Birdseye, frozen foods.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So he made it possible for us to store sea and canned foods for lengthy days without getting spoiled or losing their taste or nutritional value. Mm. He invented frozen foods out of curiosity of avoiding food wastage and keeping them fresh for lengthy periods of times. Mm. He was once a worker in the Arctic in Canada and mingled with the
Inuit.
Mm-hmm. So he observed how they had frozen their foods in barrels of water, and they froze super quick in the frigid weather. So that's kind of what got him sparked with this. So he concluded that the process of rapid freezing kept the foods in extremely low temperatures that they can retain their freshness. After returning to the U.S., the practice of freezing foods at higher temperatures still continued, and he started looking for the best ways to preserve them at lower temperatures. Are you ready for this one, Jim? He started with $7, which he used in renting an electric fan and bought ice. He packed the food into waxed cardboard boxes and applied flash freezing at high temperatures. The method worked fine, and that was the beginning of his newfound fortune.
Wow.
Holy moly. Now, understand, $7, back in 1923, I don't know what the ratio would be to today. I don't know if you have that at your fingertips or not, Jim.
Let me look it up here.
But I can tell you, it would have been a dad good sum of money. People just didn't have that kind of money back in 1923.
Yeah, 1923. Let's see here. Did I put that in there right? Nope. I didn't. I did it wrong. I'm dyslexic. Put down 2319. No, not really. I put in 1913. My big fingers got in the way. Okay. Let's see here. $1 in 1923 is worth about $16.50 today. Wow. Still not a lot of money.
You got to consider back then, not many folks even had $1.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the amazing part about it. And he did this off of $7 and made this invention.
Mm-hmm. That was $115.48 in today's money, Donna. And you know, that inspires me to share a story that Donna and I looked at earlier today. The guy by the name of James Turner, he and his son, they founded Dollar General. You know
Hmm.
what a big store that is? They got about 18,000 stores. They're in every state in the United States except Hawaii and Canada. I mean, Hawaii and Alaska. And they're not in Idaho or Montana. But all the other states, they got a boatload of them. And they reach out to rural America. They really do.
Hmm.
But he was about 11 years of age when his dad died. So he quit school like a lot of kids did back in that time when, they became the breadwinners, the bread
Right. The
earners.
man of the house.
Yeah. And so he went to work and all that, and he's got a very interesting career of how it led up to that. But the point of it was he never was able to learn to read throughout his adult life.
Wow.
So if you're sitting there and you're saying, well, I don't have any money, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the other. So what's your problem? You are a mind with a body.
Hmm.
And if you love yourself and get out of your head and follow your heart, follow your calling in life,
You can
you
do anything.
yes, ma'am, you can. Because there's people out there who help you.
Yep.
People
Yep.
love to help people. They really do.
And you just got to make sure you find the right ones with the same
Oh, yeah.
like-mindedness that you are.
Yeah. You know, back in 1925, there's a guy by the name of Jacob Schick. Do you have any idea what he may have invented since his last name is Schick?
Well, I'm thinking I do, but you go ahead.
It was the electric razor. Now, I know my dad and that generation, electric razors were the cat's meow.
Right?
And I've used electric razors a few times, but the bottom line is I still like soap and water and rake and scrape. I do. I just like to shave like that because
Hmm.
my personal preference. Now, when I was in the military, I had a little electric shaver that was battery operated that I would use just to knock off the rough spots when we were out in the field or something like that. But my preference was, of course, razors. But Jonathan Schick, remember now, electricity's coming alive now. People,
Right.
and he suffered an injury. This is how it came about. He suffered an injury at an Alaskan gold exploration. He experienced much pains when he tried shaving his beard, but he had time to recover. But time to time, he had plans to come up with a design featured a shaver with a head on it powerful enough and flexible enough with electric motor to be able to remove the beard. He had his plans rejected by many manufacturers. Listen up now. He had his idea, his dream, his goal that was born out of an injury. He had many manufacturers that rejected him. They saw the invention as being too bulky, too complicated. While he healed from the injury, his plans were to design the dry shaver, and it was pending as he resumed military duty during the First World War. His desire to create electric shaver was reignited when he saw that the weaponry at the military service were useful in his invention. After the war, he went back to design a magazine repeating razor, and he started his company that produces electric razors afterwards and was always working to develop the first prototype and improve it. But the story of that is the electric razor was invented in 1925, and it was born out of his need, and he was rejected by many, many, many manufacturers. And how many times has one no stopped you?
Right. And, my philosophy with a no, it doesn't mean forever.
Mm-mm,
Maybe it means not
not
right
now.
now,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
maybe, I also look at it this. It's either not now or next opportunity.
Mhm. I think it's the next opportunity because the way I look at a no is like this, ladies and gentlemen. If I approach someone and they say no, there was two things I didn't do. Either either one of two things. Either I did not qualify them before I called on them,
Correct.
or I did not deliver the value for them to say yes.
Hmm.
See, that's owning responsibility. If you own that, then you're good to go. Then you're looking for self-improvement. Then you're looking for ways to better present it or whatever.
Right.
But and also to better qualify, because qualifying people is very, very important, because even in your coaching career, Donna, there's a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but there's been a few people come down the pike that you really could not help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's important when you're talking with someone, and if they say to you, well, gosh, now just isn't the right time for me.
Mhm.
That is your opportunity to say, I totally understand that.
Mhm.
I absolutely no problem. Would it be okay with you if I check back in 6 months?
Mhm. Yeah.
They're going to either say yes or they're going to say no. But 9
Mhm.
times out of 10, they're going to say yes.
Mhm.
And maybe
Yeah.
their circumstances have changed by then. So,
Yeah.
there's ways to make a no successful,
Mhm.
that it's something that you can come back to later.
Oh, yeah.
Your
And
trickle file.
yeah. And one of the things you may want to add to what Donna said there is that, is it okay if I come back in 6 months and also give you an update on what we're doing and how things are
Right.
going? Because people are interested in how things are going.
Mhm.
I mean, if you ask somebody, let me ask you a question. Every one of you just automatically tuned in to see
Us.
what the
Right.
question was. Yeah, the pause, the power of the pause. Don't ever
Mhm.
forget that. That's very important. And it's amazing because, Donna, in your career, you've really helped a lot of people. And I want to use Donna again because we use her a lot as an example, and she's such a nice lady. She doesn't get upset with me or anything. Uh, she had the same day that she was told she had MS. She was also told that she needed brain surgery for an aneurysm, and that was a very low point for her. And I'll let her share a little bit about her story there, because I'm going somewhere with this story.
Well, it really was a low point. It was a lot for me to process at one time medically. And, I'm very well educated and I understand the process of all of these. And I knew that the brain surgery had to happen to find out exactly where it was placed, the size of the aneurysm, and the danger I was in. But on the other hand, too, with MS, I'm very well educated, even before I was diagnosed. Just got a little more educated after that. But that can be, unfortunately, that can be a critical disease that can kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And, after I processed this, and it was difficult because I had 3 children still at home as a single parent. And Jim, I had to process it. And I had to process part of that in front of my children. They were teenagers. So,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really hide things from them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once I processed it, and I decided it was a little bit of time went by. I said, I can't live like this anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. So I went on an internal journey of what was going on in my life. And I really tore myself apart. And I had to. We have to sometimes take something down and really look at the pieces of it in order to put it back together in a
Mm-hmm.
better way. And that's exactly what I did. And that's how high energy performance coaching came about. So,
Mm-hmm.
my point in that is I decided that I probably wasn't the only one struggling with a depression from a disease, or somebody in your family who's suffering it. Because here's what I do know: even if you're healthy and somebody in your life suffers from a disease, that disease does not just affect them,
Oh, yeah.
it affects everybody around them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in learning how to handle that, creates a better energy space for you to be.
Hmm. What she said, what Donna said there, yeah. But I wanted to take it one step further. Notice how when Donna started out on this journey, it was all about personal her what she was experiencing, how she can cope with it, and all that. But then, as she just said, she realized that what she learned and had the courage to overcome, and she knows exactly how she felt during those dark days. She could use that to be a blessing to others. And it's there at a website, and you can get in touch with Donna directly at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. But the reason we want to bring this story up, and we bring it up very frequently, practically every show, is the fact there might be someone out there listening who has an opportunity to share their life's journey with someone else to help them through the dark times, especially in
Right.
their hour of need. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of like when people have a coach or a friend or a buddy, whatever they call them, that who are with AAA, AAA, Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. Okay, I never went there, so us drunks, we didn't have to go.
Triple A.
I was thinking about the people I have to pay some money to for the car. Anyway, I'm mentally challenged. What can I say? But anyway, no, seriously, because if they have the urge and they get in a weak spot where they have an urge to drink, they have someone they can call
Mhm.
and talk to. Same is true with suicide.
Mhm.
I mean, that's so important. It really is, because everybody needs a friend in their hour of need. And that's why that's so important. And that's what Donna saw in her, from her experience. And I know there's someone out there watching today that, yeah, they went through something that's very tragic, but they survived. They found a way to survive. You owe it to yourself to share that message with others.
Absolutely.
You really do, because you might be able to connect with someone and help them in their hour of need where no one else on planet Earth can connect with them. That's
Mhm.
how special you are. Really is. And my goodness, Donna, we talk about these inventions, and it just blows me away how they are.
Right?
And oh goodness gracious, we found this information here, and I shared it with Donna. About we talked already about the traffic light and the quick frozen food, the Band-Aid, and Donna has precious memories of water skiing.
I have cold, precious memories of water skiing in a glacier fed lake in Montana
Yeah,
in July.
icicles on the toenails on that deal. But that's
Yeah.
what she was learn how to. But another invention that we use every day that there is no way on planet Earth I would have first guessed or even thought that this came out of the 20s. The very first one was
Right?
first appearance in 1922. Do you know what that is? If you're a fan of milkshakes, you'll know what that is. Or if you're a fan of health drinks where you put, all these ingredients in there and push the button, and it's the electric blender.
Right?
That got me. I mean, this is what gets me about some of these inventions. When they were invented and when they came on the scene, my goodness gracious, if that had been a test, I would have flunked it.
Well, you wouldn't have been alone in that. I would have been the big flunk too.
Yeah, I hear it's really amazing because the electric blender, it was invented by a guy by the name of Stephen J. Popolowski. I'm going to spell that Poplawski. He is credited for the electric blender that was first used in making milkshakes and malts. And in 1932, he received patents for a blender that worked well for fruits and vegetables. So the electric blender made cool, creamy treats and puree fruits and vegetables easy. It quickly became a popular kitchen appliance in most homes. I didn't even see an electric blender till I was an adult.
Right?
We didn't have one growing up. We really didn't.
We did, but I want to say I was probably around 10, 11 years old, my
Wow.
memory of it.
Yeah, that's amazing because I just never would have guessed it was that old. But for you
Right.
folks that blend your drinks and all that, it was first invented in 1922. the first appearance, 1922. Man. Mm.
Well,
And you know, there is another great invention, Donna, and that's it was invented. The first one can be traced back to 1860. Can you believe that?
wow.
Do you know
Tell
what
us.
it? Do you know what it is, Donna?
No, tell us.
It's something called a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I kind of need that in my house with my clouder of cats and my big furry white dog.
Oh yeah, because it says here that though the first vacuum cleaner can be traced back to the 1860s, I don't know how they called it a vacuum cleaner with but they did. But anyway, it was in the mid 1920s when the vacuum cleaner became more efficient and easier to use. In fact, in 1920, a company called Air-Way, AIR-WAY, sanitizer, and they were in Toledo, Ohio. And they introduced a vacuum cleaner with a disposable bag. In
Nice.
1926, the popular vacuum company Hoover became a positive agitation system, and that greatly increased the dirt removal efficiency. The cleaning household carpets became a lot easier and much faster. And today, vacuum cleaners, my goodness gracious, some are cordless, upright
Mhm.
and central, and wet and dry, and even robotic.
Well,
My daughter's got a robotic little vacuum cleaner.
I don't have a robotic one because I got to be honest with you. My male cat Bullet would be attacking that sucker all over the house. I'd come home and I guarantee you, I'd find that little circle thing with his little legs going like this.
Yeah, yeah. I get a kick out of the video I saw one time, and every time the little robotic vacuum cleaner would take off, the cat would run on it and jump on it and go for a ride. Cats
That would
do
be
things
awesome.
like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
cats do things like they're just totally opportunist, aren't they?
They are, and it's interesting because I had to buy a new vacuum cleaner several months ago. And I researched and I bought one that has no bristles. It is a brushless vacuum cleaner.
Hmm.
And it's amazing. I love this vacuum cleaner. And my thought behind it was, of course, it was a money back guarantee if I didn't like it.
Hmm.
But if you have cats like I do, and you vacuum up kitty litter, when you have a vacuum cleaner that's got the bristles, the dadgum kitty litter goes out to the sides.
Hmm.
And so this one, because there's no brushes, it just sucks it all up. It's
Hmm.
amazing, right? So they have every kind of vacuum cleaner out there you can possibly imagine, want, or need.
Mhm. Oh yeah, because I've got a shop vac, and I tell you right now, that thing comes in real handy because it's real big. It's like a I don't know, 15-gallon drum or whatever. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
big one, and that thing has got great suction to it. It's wet or dry, and all that stuff, and goodness.
My husband has two of them, and when he says, "Well, I'll get out my shop vac because we know that thing could suck the hide off of a rhino."
Isn't that the truth?
It
Isn't that the
is.
truth? It really is.
Well, here's something that came out in 1924 that we pretty much all use today:
What's that?
the loudspeaker.
Mm. What'd you say?
So it was invented by Chester Rice and Edward Kellogg. So before the invention of a coil loudspeaker, the existence of the voluminous engine has been before the 20th century by different contributors, but the moving coil principle was successfully achieved by the inventors in 1924. Rice was an electrical engineer who worked with General Electric, and Edward Kellogg was employed by AT&T when they both invented the loudspeaker.
Wow.
The inventors were successful in their ability to adjust the coil properties until they achieved a lower frequency that made the comb's radiation independence became uniform. This effect helped the noise become replicable and led it to fine-tuned and crisp audio.
Mm.
So this is after making a few progress on the first prototype. They named it Radiola Loudspeaker and sold it for $250 in 1926.
Mm.
How about that? Now think about it. From that invention, we have loudspeakers on everything, on our TV, on our phones, right here on our computers. We have them everywhere, in our car. You know, think about where that has gone and evolved from then.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And also, too, this is something that we all have to deal with in our lives. And that is, what if?
Right.
What if this happens? What if that happens? That all comes from the mind, and it comes from the past. And right now, we just want to take a moment to share some information with you. There is a website there. I mean, it's not a website, it's a YouTube video, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. If you just lay down on a couch or sit in a chair, close your eyes, relax, shut the world out, and listen to those words, I promise you it will wake up something in you, and you will understand that you have a special calling in life.
Right.
And the mind can only bring up the past. The mind can only bring up physical things. The mind can only bring up worry and all that. And along with that, here it is. I got to reach back and get it. A good friend of ours, and we don't get any compensation for this because he's our friend. We do this as a courtesy. The 7 Levels of Truth. This is a book that took 25 years in the making for Mr. Bill Heinrich. And it's on Amazon. And Bill talks about getting out of the physical.
Right.
Because he walked away from his life. He just took his name. And the reason why, he was a very unhappy person. And he went on a search, you might say, to find himself. And in that book, I can tell you right now, he has taught me and Donna a lot.
Yes, he has.
About vision and how to, look for things. He taught me how to he says, I told him one day, I says, we were on the radio show. I says, Bill, guess what? I said, the other day I made a decision. He says, Jim, do yourself a favor and don't ever make another decision. And I started to go, because on the radio, nobody can see you, right? Don't make another decision. Why? But in joke, because I knew he was going somewhere. I says, why is that, Bill? He says, make options instead. And the importance in that, Donna, we know we make a decision.
Right.
We've already got the future inside that rectangular box, if you want to call it that, when you make a decision.
A decision is final.
Yes.
And that's the problem with a decision. When you make that decision, you leave yourself no options.
That's right.
You leave yourself open to not feeling good about yourself if that decision you made doesn't work out the way you thought it would in your head. Right? And so the options is amazing, because this is the option I've set out to do. Okay, so maybe you go this way, and that doesn't work. But that means that box is not closed. There's an opening for another option.
Exactly right. Because when you make a decision, like Donna said, it's final. And when the path that you're going down and the things that's coming to you from the energy, and you'll understand more about that if you read the book or just listen to Earl Nightingale,
right?
You'll understand that you're blocking that energy because you've made a metal box there with nothing to get in.
Absolutely.
And that brings on stress.
Ooh.
Think about how many times we've all made decisions and it just becomes stressful trying to accomplish it.
Or worse, you've made a life-changing decision under undue stress. Not the best time to make a life-changing decision.
No. How many people have done things when they lost their temper they wish they hadn't done when they cooled off,
Right.
Said things, broken things, or whatever. I mean, it's just,
Cooler heads will prevail is what my mama always used to say.
that's exactly right. And whenever you're making an option in life and you're thinking about something, always sleep on it.
Hmm.
Especially if someone says, this is a great deal and you got to get it today and da 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 da. A good deal today is a good deal tomorrow.
Right.
And if someone is pressuring you to buy something and you got to get it today for that price, if they're not the kind of person that you can say, listen, now if you're dealing with an individual entrepreneur here, I'm not talking about some big company, individual entrepreneur, you say, listen, I like what you say. I want to think about it till tomorrow.
Hmm.
And I will call you by, give me exact time. I'll call you by 3 p.m. your time tomorrow afternoon and let you know what my final decision is. He says, well, I can't do that right now. You got to buy it today, but do yourself a favor, make an exit. Because if I'm an entrepreneur and I got a product and someone says, Jim, let me think about it and I'll give you a call tomorrow at 3 p.m. and give you my decision. That's okay. And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will honor that price till, you can call me back. Plain and simple.
Hmm.
That comes from a position of being positive, and it comes from a position of strength and courage.
Right.
And they'll know that you believe in and you've got the real deal.
Absolutely.
Because only the
Absolutely.
people when they try to pressure you to buy something and you feel a little bit uncomfortable, save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money. That's the best advice I can give you.
But give yourself options, folks.
Hmm.
Give yourself
Absolutely.
options, because options lead to better ideas. They
Hmm.
lead to prosperous ideas,
Hmm.
ideas that would work, whereas a decision that maybe sounded good, but in theory, but when you put the application to it, it won't work.
Yeah, exactly right. And guess what? You can use the mastermind principle. That is
Hmm.
talked a lot in, let me show you this old book here. You can see that book has got it really
Right?
should have a couple of purple hearts or something. It's been worn, it's used and abused, but I love it. Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone, Success to a Positive Mental Attitude. And that's a picture of the gentleman on the back, if I can get that in there right. But anyway, my point being is that the mastermind principle is critical for you. And what I mean by that is that get with two or three or more people that you respect their wisdom, their
Yep.
knowledge, and their experience, and just say, can I ask you a question? This is
Hmm.
what my thinking is. And they will give you great information. That's just the way the mastermind principle works. That's the way energy flows.
Right.
Because I still laugh about Henry Ford because a lot of people did not know what made Henry Ford so successful in building all those cars. Donna and I know, and because the world looked at him, Donna, as being like, how could he do that? He's a
Right.
country bumpkin. He don't know anything about metallurgy. He don't know anything about engineering. He don't know anything about this, that, or the other.
And he
But the
was
answer,
right.
yeah,
He
because
didn't.
he knew he didn't know it. That was the
Right.
secret.
Right. He knew he didn't know, and he knew that he wasn't going to be able to have the time to go to school to learn,
Right,
and
right,
perhaps not even the inclination.
right.
But what he did have is the wisdom to reach out
Mhm.
and find people who were specialists in those
He
areas.
sure did. And he picked their brains just like it was his own brains. And that's how he was able to sleep on ideas and other ideas. You know how it is. You wake up in the morning and something comes to you in your
Yes.
mind. That's the way the world turns. And nobody has a patent on that. It belongs to everybody on planet
Right.
Earth. I don't care if you're, I don't care who you are, what country you live in. That is a universal promise from the Creator, and it belongs to you and nobody else. So please take advantage of that because, oh, Henry Ford, he probably said, "Yeah, I'm dumb, all right, but I know where the bank is and what time it opens and closes."
Right.
you know. And also, too, before we get off Mr. Bill's website there, truelifepurposenow.com, be sure and go to the website and just say, hey, Jim and Donna said that I could get a free 30-minute complimentary consultation. And he will sit down with you over the phone, probably Skype or something, and he will be more than happy to give you free counseling for 30 minutes, no charge, and no pressure to buy anything that day or any day in the future. You want to know
Absolutely true.
why? He's too busy.
Hmm.
And the same thing with Donna. I forgot to mention that. Let's go back up here. Just send Donna an email at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. And Donna will be more than happy to sit down with you for a complimentary 30-minute consultation. And she will tell you how to get rid of all those aggravating people, things, or places in your life that's just been gnawing at you like a rat on cheese. Go ahead, Donna. Share with them what you get with
Well,
them.
at least we can get a start on it. But there's something else that I like to offer, and
Mhm.
this is huge. And I use it. I've used it with my children. Um, is there's a breathing technique that I do that helps calm you down. Like, so if you suffer from anxiety, you know what? Reach out. I would love to share that with you. And it's really easy to do. It does take a few times to get it going and get in the habit of it. But you know what? If you're needing that peaceful break, because it pauses your body,
Mm.
it pauses it and kind of lets it come back to reset. Reach out, and I would love to share that with you and help
That's
bless your day.
amazing. That's amazing, Donna, because I had forgotten about that when you mentioned that. It got my attention because all of us know what it feels like to have our motor running.
Right.
I remember one day Bill Heinrich called me and he said, hey, Jim, how you doing today? I said, well, right now I feel like I'm pushing a chain uphill, but I'm working real hard at it. Because I've been spinning my wheels. I said, Bill, I've been spinning my wheels all day long. He says, Jim, stop. I said, okay. He says, now take a deep breath and relax.
Mhm.
And he walked me through a few things there. And because when you're caught up in a situation like it, when you're emotionally out of control, let's call it what it is. That's why I'm
Mhm.
emotionally out of control. I can't get this done. I can't get that done. I call this number and I need to talk to this person. Their phone number is busy. I left a message. I hadn't heard back from them. You
Right.
just keep spinning those wheels and you keep adding fuel to your fire.
Right.
It's perfectly normal, perfectly natural, perfectly human, and it's also perfectly wrong. And Donna, with those breathing techniques there, she took her email address. I'm going to put it back up there real quickly. With those breathing techniques, if you know of someone that is stressed out, or if they don't, if they don't even want to talk about it, just say, "Hey, how would you like to feel calm on the inside?"
Mhm.
There's a technique, a breathing technique that this lady will share with you and help you in your hour of need. Just have them send Donna an email at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. And she's such a nice lady. Donna will give the complimentary consultation for free, and she'll send me the bill.
I will. And because it's Jim, I'm going to triple it.
Oh, okay. Everything gets tripled. How about you? Can't turn that deal down. And also,
Oh,
to be sure and blend laughter and have fun in life, because my goodness gracious, that's so important, isn't it, Donna?
it is. It is. Without laughter, laughter is a natural endorphin release,
Hmm.
right? It's that feel good hormone that we have inside of us,
Hmm.
and that laughter carries us through the day,
Hmm.
and it puts positive energy
Hmm.
into your life,
Yeah.
right? Positive, positive, positive. And honestly, one of the best things I ever learned to do a long, long time ago was laugh at myself.
Oh, yeah. That's.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. When I
Yeah.
learned to laugh at myself, it made a huge difference in my life because you know what? I left the uptightness of not doing everything right far away.
Yes, ma'am. The other day, I went to physical therapy. This is for my cardiac rehab, and the uh, the technician there, the lady that works with me, physical therapist, she put me on this. They got this one bicycle machine. She says, "I'm going to increase the resistance on that." And I said, "Okay." She says, "I want you to see what you can do." I said, "Okay." So I get on that thing, and I figure, I'm just going to see what I can do. Because usually I just, sit there and go through the motions and work out, and I'm, not kill myself. But that day, this thing is 15 minutes long. I got on it and I cranked on it. And I mean, I'm holding on to that seat and I'm just working out as I can. After I got done, I'm going, I'm panting like a greyhound that just got done running a race, And she comes over and she says, you feel okay? And I said, yeah. She says, are you lightheaded at all? And I says, no. She says, Jim, you got your heart rate up to 142 beats a minute.
Wow.
I said, really? She said, yeah. And she says, I was watching it because you wear these monitors in there.
Right.
And she said, your heart just looked great. And I said, well, based on everything I've been through in my life, having a heart attack on Halloween and then having open heart surgery on the following Monday and having AFib 2 days later and all this stuff, I'm just so thankful that along the way, I did not, blow a head gasket, drop a valve or pop any rivets loose. And we both enjoyed a good laugh at that. But it's so important, like Donna says, be able to laugh at things, find things to laugh at, and it's because laughter is such a wonderful healer on the inside. It really is.
Laughter can heal many, many things.
Yes, ma'am, it can. It certainly may. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to the Roaring 20s, tomorrow we're going to get into some of the things behind the scenes in the Roaring 20s, how Prohibition came about and how the reason why Prohibition came about, one of the reasons was that they wanted the rural people to stop making their own alcohol.
That didn't work for my family.
Yeah, but see, what they were doing for that alcohol, they were using it for fuel in the cars.
Right. Well, they usually had two. They had one for fuel and one for drinking.
Yeah, and you don't want to mix drinks. That's before they mix drinks, right?
Oh, goodness.
My goodness, I tell you. Our time is getting down, isn't it, Donna?
It is. We are just about out of time, Jim.
These hours always go so fast because we enjoy being with you, ladies and gentlemen.
So much fun.
Oh, yeah. And we're so thankful that our show is so well received. And it's just a blessing to us because this is why we do it. We're here for you.
Absolutely.
And it's just the positive feedback we get from, like Aaron Hymas, the president of E360 TV. And this is a guy that knows the numbers. He said, I'm very pleased with your show because you guys get a lot of views. And that makes me feel very honored and humbled to be here because after all, believe it or not, Donna and I did not plan up to have this show.
Nope.
We both backed into it, fell into it, got up and said, what happened? You're on TV. Oh, okay.
Kind of dusted ourselves off and went, okay, here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, Donna and I'm going to tell that quick story if I may. Donna and I, we first aired a show together on my radio show. And the way it happens that, I got Marty Haggard, my friend, he's going to be a guest on there. And I called up Donna and I said, hey, Donna, guess who I'm going to have my radio show? She says, who? I says, Marty Haggard. And she says, oh, goodness, I love Marty Haggard, And prior to this, Donna and I were just friends.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I mean, I'm not saying that was it, but I mean, we didn't work together professionally or anything. And when she said, oh, I love his dad, Earl Haggard, and I love that. And I saw then the energy that she brought to the party. And I know that energy like that will vibrate over the airways. And I said, Donna, would you like to be a co-host with me that day? She said, I'd love to. So we had a wonderful program with Marty Haggard. It was a blessing in disguise because this guy is so down to earth. He was the show, as you very well would already know, him being a star and being the oldest son of Earl Haggard. He was still the show. Yeah. And Donna was so touched by him that we got off the air and within first 2 minutes, Marty, would you like to be on my radio show? Well, sure, Donna. And so she did the Christian thing and she invited me to co-host together. And it was on that show there that I saw we had chemistry.
Right.
And so we backed into this TV show about 6 months later and invited Donna to co-host with me, and it migrated to where the energy created its own self to where now she's the full-time partner with me here, and bless her heart, she's got to put up with me. So pray for her.
Oh, it's been a beautiful journey, folks. It has been a beautiful journey. Jim and I are really blessed to be here. We are blessed that we backed into this.
Yes.
We are blessed that we are partners. We think alike. We can make decisions, on the spur of the moment without each other because we know it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And many times, this is one of the great things about the think tank. When I have a question, I go to Donna, she gives me the answer.
And vice versa.
I thought I was going to get a giggle at her on that one.
And vice versa.
Yeah. But this is where the energy pulled us together for the bigger cause, the bigger
Right.
picture. And because Donna was smart enough to figure it out, but I wasn't. So they had to, I had to be pulled along with that energy. You know what I mean?
You're silly.
Well, I'm only 73. They say growing old is mandatory, growing up is optional. So
You're
I'm
right.
not going to
It's
exercise
optional.
that.
It's optional.
That's
There are
right.
some days I'm about 7 years old all day long.
There you go. Be sure and giggle at yourself and dance like the old saying, dance like nobody's watching. Do it.
Yeah,
Even if
absolutely.
it's in your house with the curtains closed and all that, dance.
Absolutely.
I mean, get up and boogie. Okay, I'm wired here. I can't move too much. Donna, our time is gone, but we've had a wonderful time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for making our show as well liked as it is. We're very much appreciative of that. And we realize that's a blessing that comes from you to us. And we're very grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
You bet. God bless you.